All right, another row variation. We love our rows here. This is with a TRX brand, but honestly, you could use rings, whatever. Now, we're gonna show you what to do if you don't have this set up at home, because not everybody has this. But honestly, man, TRX is pretty good. You like TRX?
Yeah, TRX works well. It's the standard, sort of within our industry. There are cheaper and more affordable options, especially on like Amazon and Walmart.
Yeah.
But suspension straps are a really versatile option for bodyweight training.
Okay, so where am I setting up my legs?
So a lot of people struggle with performing this exercise with straight legs.
Like this.
Yep, and that makes the movement a little more challenging. But to start, to make sure that we're using the proper technique, I like to do it from a glute bridge. So we have the legs bent.
Okay, then what?
So now we want to bridge the hips up and squeeze the glutes the entire time. That's the biggest mistake people actually make with rows, kind of like push-ups, except in reverse, is letting the hips sag.
Yeah.
If we can keep the hips up and the glutes squeezed, it makes it much easier to perform this exercise. Then with the eyes looking straight up towards the ceiling, we can pull the elbows back and bring the handles to the lower chest.
Now, you're not pulling it to the face.
Right.
You're pulling it, without hitting this thing over here.
Yeah, don't
Pulling
hit
it to the chest.
Yep. We're looking anywhere from like clavicle to almost belly button. There's going to be some variation depending on the person, but somewhere around that lower chest or even like nipple height with your elbows nice and close.
Now, you could probably do the whole pull-up bar in the door if you don't have, obviously you're not gonna have a rig at home. Most commercial gyms are gonna have some sort of setup like this.
Yep.
What if you don't have one of these at the gym or at home, but you have a rack?
Well, the next best option is using a barbell. And in general, we want this somewhere from sternum height to belly button height. So this is right at the height of my belly button, and this is a good height for me. The lower we go, the more perpendicular we are to gravity, the more challenging it's gonna be. If we wanted to make this a little bit easier, we would raise it a few spots.
Okay, so show.
Yep, so then the setup is gonna be the same, where I'll have my hands directly over my shoulders. Again, if I wanna make the movement harder, I can be in a straight leg position, or I could even elevate my feet. But for this variation, we're gonna show a bridged hip position with the knees bent, and then I'm pulling to my sternum. Now, worst case scenario, let's say you have absolutely nothing at home that you can use. You can use a table, and you can grab the edge of the table and get yourself underneath and use the edge of the table to perform those rows. Is that the safest option? No. And if we're to that point, well, then we probably need to invest in some equipment, but
Yeah.
if you do have a sturdy, strong dinner table, it's an option.
Yeah, honestly, like if that's the issue, I would just go ahead and do dumbbell rows instead or
Yeah.
something like that.
Because we don't want a table pulling on, falling onto you.
Yeah, it doesn't make it worth it. So, any other cues, tips?
Some of you are going to struggle to touch your chest to the bar or to the handles. If you need to, you can go higher to start to work to improve that range of motion. But some people are just not quite going to be able to get there. As long as the range of motion is consistent across every rep, that's okay.
Perfect.